Welcome to the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. My name is Bill Moore. I have the privilege of being the Chief Operating Officer here, and apparently I have a lot of friends this morning of the Angry Birds. Glad to see them here. We're glad to be, glad everybody got to see and experience America's spaceport, where history is made. The very first man who walked on the moon launched from this area, first space shuttle flight. A lot of history here. It's not all about history, it's also about the future. We're doing some crazy, exciting things here in NASA every day. Not too far from where we're all standing, we're building a new capsule to take people to space in places we've never been before. We're working on new rocket systems. There are all kind of things going on. And we're working with obviously, some of you read about the commercial flights that are going to happen in this area. So it's a busy, busy time. Here at the Visitor Complex, we try to let you see as close to what NASA does every day as we can. We'd like to show you the rockets through our rocket garden. We have all kinds of different exhibits you see. We have the shuttle launch experience. If you haven't ridden that, even the astronauts tell me it's pretty close to what it's like, minus a couple of G-forces. You may have noticed a really big building when you drove in. We're building a home for Space Shuttle Atlantis. That's going to open on June 29th of this year. I'm assuming I'm going to check and make sure all of you are there that day. And we're not finished with it. One of the features that's going to come out, it's a pretty big building already, but it adds to the front. It's a full-size external tank, the big orange tank that the shuttle had, and 2 solid rocket boosters next to it, close to 190 feet in the air. So if you drive over from anywhere, you'll see it very long way. Today we're doing something a little different, but we're still talking about space. We're here to witness the grand opening of a brand new exhibit called Angry Birds in Space. This is the first interactive exhibit of its kind in the United States. So I'm just curious, how many of you played Angry Birds? Some of you under the age of 50 definitely have. Some of that a little bit older. How many of you played Angry Birds in Space? That's good. We're going to meet some people today that sort of helped create this process and got us going, so it's a pretty interesting time. You know, this exhibit is designed to help bring Angry Birds from the full screens we have to life a little bit. They talk about their kidnapped eggs. They have an intergalactic wormhole. They come face to face with space pigs and discover heroic superpowers. We have 6 interactive stations inside. You can create your own Angry Bird. I've done that. You can take your best shot at slinging Angry Birds into space, trying to hit the space pigs. You can solve Angry Bird puzzles. And we have a mirrored labyrinth that's in there that you have to be careful not to get lost in. We have a laser challenge in the game zone where you're going to play Angry Birds. So all of you that are really good can show how you're doing. We also have a gift shop in the back. Some of you like to take things home, t-shirts and whatnot, to show Angry Birds. But best of all, the Angry Birds is just part of your everyday mission when you come here to the Visitor Complex. I really want to thank Rovio Entertainment for partnering with us here at the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex and sort of creating the ultimate launching point into space, whether you're a bird, or whether you're a person, or whether you're just taking cargo to the space station. You know, we got guys and gals up there in space today, at the space station, 24 hours a day. There's stuff going on all the time in space. I want to give a quick thank you to EDG, which is our company that helped us design the Angry Bird Space Encounter and bringing it from concept to reality. You know, with the popularity of Angry Birds today, we're expecting people to come from all over the world to visit, just to see Kennedy, but also to visit this new attraction. So it's my pleasure to introduce the gentleman from Rovio Entertainment, which creates all these crazy puzzles and games, most of which I've not been able to figure out. Dan Mitchell is from Rovio Entertainment. They're based in Finland, if you didn't know. They have a very interesting company story. His job is to help bring the global brand of Angry Birds from the digital world here to the physical world. Dan's no stranger to the entertainment industry. Prior to working for Rovio, Dan worked at Universal Orlando for 15 years, part of the City Walk development and areas of production and entertainment for Universal Studios and Alex Adventures. So with that, please welcome to the stage, Dan Mitchell.
Thanks everybody for coming out. We at Rovio are extremely excited to have all of our fans be able to take part of the Angry Birds Space Encounter here at the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. So we do have some fans of the game here, right? By show of hands? Awesome. I have to admit, I had a chance to take a sneak peek, and it's incredible. I hope you guys are really going to enjoy it. Our partnership with Kennedy and NASA as a whole has really been a great experience for us. As a way for us as a company within Rovio to bring our brand from the digital world, as Bill said, from your smartphones and tablets to a physical setting, and a way for you to be able to experience the brand and enjoy things, and also hopefully help along the way advancing this mission of being a part of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We hope you'll learn something along the way as well. In fact, I think we've got a visitor here that might be joining us. Do we think maybe we can do some chants for our friend Space Red? Can we hear Space Red? Space Red! 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 There we go. Let's do it again. Space Red. So Super Red, our character here, we are extremely excited for him to be here. And I've got a special treat for some fans here. Red, we've got some stuff to share. So can I get some stuff out here to the audience here? Now hold on to those, because those, our Angry Birds Space plush toys are going to play a special part, so hold on to those. We're going to use those in just a second. I'm excited for you guys to take a look at the Angry Birds Space Encounter here at the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. Bill, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Steve, very much. We have another speaker who's talking today, a couple of them. These guys are really part of the space world. Our next speaker is really no stranger to the Kennedy Space Center. Since 1992, he's worked in the center in various capacities. He was a flow director for Space Shuttle Atlantis, which is important to me because we're building our own for Atlantis. He was the chief engineer for shuttle upgrades. He was a vehicle manager for Space Shuttle Columbia. He was a NASA test director. He's played a role in selecting the next generation of astronauts. Today he serves as the associate director here at the Kennedy Space Center. Please welcome Kelvin.
Thanks, Bill. It's great to be here this morning to help open the Angry Birds Space Encounter. An awesome addition to the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. When guests come to visit, this will be one more thing they'll definitely want to see. Last week I did have the opportunity to check on the progress of the Atlantis exhibit. And that too will be one more thing that people will be talking about for a long time. So as you came in today, you saw the new front entrance. These improvements will create new experiences for guests as they learn more about the NASA story. And the Angry Birds Space Encounter will play a huge part to further excite the public's interest in space. I have two children myself, 7 and 11, a little bit older than you guys, but they love playing Angry Birds. And so when I heard and they heard that the Angry Birds Space Encounter was coming to our visitor complex, we were both very excited. So this game, like Dan said, it'll ensure the next generation of explorers will have that interest in space exploration as well as the fundamental sciences. We talked about the STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and math. And you can have some fun along the way in doing that. So with the mutually beneficial relationship we have, that partnership with NASA, or Delaware North, who runs our visitors complex, and Rovio, we are reaching out to future explorers. So what I'd like to tell kids here today is simply science can really be this cool. Once you've mastered launching these birds into the right trajectory to hit the big targets, you can use those orbital mechanics skills to one day create a plan to maybe land a spacecraft on a distant planet, or try to land a spacecraft on a fast-moving target like an asteroid. The game you'll be playing today can lead to future fields of studies, future studies that you'll pursue tomorrow. And those studies can lead you into a career that can help you solve some of the great obstacles that are challenges to exploring the universe. And in fact, these same challenges are what NASA is working on today. So the visitor complex, as the visitor complex evolves, new additions like the Angry Birds Space Encounter, KSC is evolving too. lot of people thought that, well, with the end of the space shuttle, ASC was going out of business. But like Bill mentioned, that couldn't be further from the truth. We're in the process of transforming Kennedy Space Center into a multi-user space complex. We're still processing payloads and experiments for the International Space Station. We're investing dollars into commercial space transportation systems to develop safe and efficient transportation that's for the astronauts to and from the station on an affordable basis. That bird there is a laughing ball. I don't know if he's laughing at me or he's excited about the bird here. But anyway, I just want you to know, with NASA, we're developing this heavy lift launch rocket that we're calling the Space Launch System, and it's going to carry a multi-purpose crew vehicle like the model you see behind it, the Orion spacecraft that will carry future generations of explorers like you further than we've ever gone in space before. Kennedy Space Center, we're also the home of the Launch Services Program. We launched the Curiosity rover that's on Mars. That started from here. We're also looking at unveiling the James Webb Space Telescope here in the not too distant future, and that will unveil some new mysteries that we don't even know about. So we're excited about that. And why did we do this? We do it with the goal of making life here on Earth better. That's what it's all about. So I'd like to thank you on behalf of the Kennedy Space Center and NASA for supporting these endeavors. But I know you want to get into the exhibit and you want to hear about the next speaker. I'd like to give you a brief introduction on astronaut Don Pettit. Dr. Pettit, is a chemical engineer by trade and an accomplished NASA astronaut. He's a veteran of one space shuttle mission. He's also flown in the Russian Soyuz. In addition, he spent 2 long-duration missions aboard the International Space Station, orbiting above the Earth some 240 miles. So, total, he's logged over 370 days in space. Think about that. That's over a year in space. Just amazing. And here's a little-known fact about Dr. Pettit. In NASA, Don is known as the MacGyver in space. If there's something that's broken or is not working right, there's a pretty good chance Don's going to figure out a way to fix it. He's a really smart guy. The last time this year, Don was aboard the International Space Station, and that's when he introduced Angry Bird Space to the world, while making those orbits around the planet every 90 minutes. So I'm excited to have him here, and I'm sure you are too. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Don Pettit.
Human exploration of space. That's serious business. When you go into space with your pound of flesh, you're traveling someplace where you need to have a machine that keeps you alive. It provides atmosphere, life support, food, water, all the things that you need, plus you have to be able to move around in space, move your vehicle around. That takes rocket engines and things. And in order to go into space and thrive, it takes math, science, and engineering. And I know we sound like a broken record when it comes to those 3 topics, but if you want to fly in space, your entry to that field right now means you've got to know these kinds of things. Now, when you're in space, again, this is a serious environment. Because we're human beings, and we've got character that makes us human beings, we like to have a little fun. And this fun allows us to work and cope in this serious environment. And part of having fun on my last mission was being able to make some videos dealing with trajectories for the Angry Birds in Space game. And that's just a little bit of fun while you're in this serious environment. But while you're having fun doing this, there's a thread of math and science and engineering that gets worked into these games. And so you could be playing a game like this and not realize that there's some physics in there. And with Angry Birds, it's all about trajectories. You have trajectories with Angry Birds on Earth, and they're going to be described by parabolic equations, which is really kind of neat. when you're in space, you can still have parabolic equations, but you can get elliptical equations with elliptical trajectories, and you can have hyperbolic trajectories. Now, these are things that if you're a geek or an uber geek, and I like to consider myself an uber geek because I like to study all of these kinds of things in school. And every once in a while, I'll come across a kid that's not just a geek, not just an uber geek, but a super uber geek. And these are the kinds of kids that will grow up and take my job when I'm ready to sit in a rocking chair. And because they understand the math, the science, and the engineering, and this is embedded in some of these recreational activities, some of these fun things like Angry Birds. And it's because parents and adults are clever in that they can work these kinds of things into something that you normally think is just fun. So anyway, enjoy the Angry Birds. Think about trajectories, and if you don't know the difference between a parabolic trajectory and a hyperbolic trajectory and an elliptical trajectory, I challenge you, go to the internet. I bet you could go and type it in on your favorite search engine, and I bet you can go right to it. You could learn about that, maybe even write a little report and impress your teacher. So with that, enjoy and think about some of the physics behind what's going on here while you're playing a game, and think about the seriousness of what it's like when human beings actually go into space, because you never know, someday maybe you or you are going to be the ones that are taking my job and going into space. Thank you.
Up in space, we have astronaut Tom Marchman, who's on the space station today. Normally, I don't think he's very jealous of what we're doing down here, but today he might be. We're probably having a little bit more fun maybe today. I don't know, those guys work hard out there. You know, Don, since you flew on Shuttle Endeavour a couple of times, it's okay, a few lands.
Well, I was thinking you should just change the name. You could erase Atlantis and put it Endeavour. That would be easier than moving Endeavour from California back to here.
And it doesn't make Californians very happy, too. You know, it's time to stop talking and start having some fun. What do you think? So it's really time to launch, it's a favorite word around here, Angry Bird Space Encounter. So we're going to need a little bit of help. So I think we've got a couple of young folks picked out. They're going to come help us get ready to officially launch Angry Birds. We're going to do that by having two able helpers, Dan and Don, help two young people launch Angry Birds into the vortex to help officially open Angry Bird Space Encounter. Get them all ready to go there. All right, guys, if you'll start getting ready and pick out your favorite toy, let's get him ready to load up the slingshot. See the space person come out here. There he is. There's the target. So let's get ready. We need a countdown. We always have countdowns here at Kennedy. So those of you who have Angry Birds plush with you, get ready to throw those in the air in a celebration. Everybody's ready? Okay, we need a countdown, so I'm going to ask, help me out, count this down. You guys ready for the slingshots? All right. Space person, you ready? Got a thumbs up, that's always good. So here we go. We're going to start at 5. When we get to launch, we're going to say, we're going to shoot at the space person. So you have to start with me, and you have to yell really loud. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, come on. Leave it to the astronaut to launch again. Okay, folks, with that, we're going to open up the Angry Bird Space Encounter. Thanks for coming out today. Enjoy yourself.